Hi, I'm Jamey from Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the game Happy Bee, which I played with a total of 6 players the other day, played in about 20 minutes, and I had a delightful time with it. Here's what Happy Bee looks like on the table. Really simple, beautiful art. This is a drafting game with a really unique drafting mechanism. Actually, there are two mechanisms in this game, especially for such a simple game, that I think are very clever. It is a simultaneous drafting game where each player has a hand of cards, and essentially in this type of drafting game, you're going to pass some cards to the player on your left. But Happy Bee does this in a really unique way because simultaneously with all the players, you will choose a number of cards from your hand that depend on the current round. So for example, you can see right here, in the first round, you are going to select one card from your hand, and you'll put that face down in front of you. And then you will reveal that card, determine the results along with all other players, and then you will pass all of your other cards to the player on your left. You will then pick up that card that you played in that previous round, or that current round, really, gain the cards from the player on your right, and that forms your new hand. So that in itself, I think, is a neat innovation, that you are selecting a card, using it right away with all other players, and then that card that you selected actually remains in your hand to use on the following turn. But added to that is another layer, because you can see here in the second round, you actually play 2 cards, and thus you also keep 2 cards. In the third round, you play 3 cards, and thus also keep 3 cards. So the shape of the hands and what you're doing from turn to turn really changes from round to round, and it ties into my other favorite mechanism. So by itself, I think that drafting mechanism is really cool. But I mentioned that you are playing some cards on the table and then comparing them to other players. The reason you're doing that is that on the table are these square cards, and you are trying to be the player who has the most matching bees of the color of this square card. And if you do, you gain that square card. So at any time, there are 7 face-up square cards. If I have the most, yellow bees, if I play the most yellow bees, then I gain the top card of the yellow deck. And the really clever twist here is that these cards are different values. So in this current round, currently for this photo right here, they're all, I'm sorry, I'm using my mouse on my other screen here. These are all valued at 1, but they go up to 5. I don't know exactly the number distribution there, but say, for example, this yellow card is a 5 and we're in round 3. I play 3 cards on the table. They're all yellow. I have the sole majority. I have the most yellow cards played, yellow B cards played, and so I gain this 5 value yellow card. However, I then keep those 3 yellow cards that I played. They remain in my hand for the next turn, which might be good, but it's possible that the next yellow card revealed might just be a 1, and so it might be much less desirable than that 5 was for me. It's worth 5 points. That's why it's more desirable. And so your actions the previous turn have consequences on the following turn. It might be really good, but if you did invest heavily in a high value card, most likely you're going to have a lower value card in the following round, and all those cards that you just kind of clogged up your hand with might not be worth as much. At the same time, now if yellow drops to 1 value, you might just play 1 yellow B card and maybe a couple other green cards or pink cards or some other card that was passed to you. Because it might be an easy win by playing only 1 B card. No one else might be interested in the 1 value yellow card, so you might get it anyway. So there's a really great decision space in terms of what you pass, what you keep, the values, the variable values of the square cards and when they appear. I really thought this game was very clever. It was completely off my radar, but I really had a great time playing with it, and it played so smoothly. The flow of the game played so smoothly at 6 players. Yeah, so that's those are my thoughts on Happy Bee. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this style of drafting. If you think of any other games that do this style of drafting, Inish is the only game that comes to mind that has something somewhat similar to it, but I'm sure there are other drafting style games, the classic one being 7 Wonders, that do this sort of thing where you're keeping different amounts of cards as you're passing them around the table. Let me know about that in the comments below. Thanks.